Well, we're making history today. We've had players in the Premiership and we've had referees. We've never had a guest that's done both. We've got a Premiership final winner and he's refereed in the Premiership. He's also refereed everywhere in World Rugby that I can think of. It's Karl Dickson. Karl, thank you so much for coming on. How are you getting on?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks very much for having me. It's always good to come on and talk about rugby. So thanks for the introduction. Very flattered. Thank you.
Yeah, so like I said, you are our first player turned referee guest. So very niche market that, but it's still counting it as history.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many of us around the world. There's a few. Nick Berry, he's done it. Obviously played over here, now refereeing World Rugby. Frank Murphy as well, he's done it. So, and obviously our predecessor Glenn Jackson kind of sort of set the stall out in recent memory. You know, if we go back a little bit further, then we can find a couple more, I'm sure.
I'm sure we'll find it, but it doesn't matter because you're our first, so it's all good.
It's always nice to be the first sometimes.
First question, we ask all our guests this just to get the ball rolling. What actually got you into rugby and then obviously into refereeing as well?
So more of a unique story. I played rugby at school, at Barnard Castle School, and towards the end of my years, sort of 15, 16, 17, I never made any sort of county side or north side or anything like that. Never played any representative rugby, and kind of fell out of love with the game. Kind of was like, oh, this is not going anywhere. Kind of went to university, had a great time at uni, and then just thought, you know what, I'd love to give this one more go, and just asked for a trial randomly because I was going to Bedford as part of my university course, and I was very fortunate. They gave me a trial at the age of sort of 21, and then kind of the rest is history from there. They gave me that opportunity, and I kind of took it.
Fair enough. I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get. I love that.
Yeah. So it was nice. It was nice. Like, you know, it was always good to get in there, especially, you know, when you're growing up and, you know, there's players who are picked ahead of you, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe there's something I'm not doing quite right here. But, you know, as we know, all schoolboy rugby, sometimes, you know, teams outside of the school will always have that influence on stuff that goes around these selection processes.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So what got you into refereeing?
So towards the sort of end of my career, not quite, around 31, 32, we literally sat outside our sort of practice offices down at Quins in Guildford, and Will Skinner had just mentioned that he'd done his referee course, and it kind of got my intrigue there and then, just sort of, oh, okay, that sounds quite interesting. I've never really thought about it. So from that point, I kind of spoke to the RFU, spoke to Chris White, and did my refereeing course with Darren Allenson, who used to play at Irish. So we did that together, and then sort of 2 weeks later, I was refereeing my first under-16s game on a Sunday, which, let's put it this way, was very interesting from my point. Never refereed before.
Fair enough. And look where you are now. You've just refereeing everywhere.
Yeah, you know, it's been fantastic. I've been given a lot of opportunities, which is great, and you know, due to the fact probably that I've played before, and you know, you just got to keep every opportunity you get and keep taking them. And I've been very fortunate that, you know, I've refereed, as you said, a lot of times all the way around the world and at the top sort of level. So, you know, I'm very privileged.
We'll love that. Where's your favourite venue to referee that you have done so far?
That I have done. I mean, probably my favourite, just purely because of the occasion and what it meant, was I didn't actually referee. I was on the line in Yokohama for the New Zealand South Africa game in the group stage. You know, full baseball stadium, around 80,000 people, was just sort of unbelievable. But again, part of the World Cup. Favourite refereeing place, if I'm honest, it's probably Wales, just purely because the atmosphere is electric, especially when they close the roof. I think it's one of the, you know, best atmospheres in the world with regards to that. So, and it's a credit to their fans.
No, I agree with that. I could vouch for that. I've been there a few times, and when the roof's closed, it's nice and close to you as well. You don't need your jacket on. It's brilliant.
Exactly, it's lovely.
Going back to your playing career a little bit. Now, I just found this out recently that your brother is Lee Dickson, obviously most known for playing at Northampton.
Yeah.
When Quins played the Saints, who did your parents root for?
So this is quite fun. My mum always said she supported both of us, and as long as none of us got injured, that was always the key thing. But playing against my brother was obviously, always an added bonus. He was a fantastic player in his own right. Playing for England on a number of occasions, and he led Saints to some key trophies. So no, and it was always good to get out there and play against him. And being the older brother, you always want to get one over him.
Fair enough. Did you ever do like little digs to each other, like at the side of the scrum or on a ruck? Or
a few little digs here and there, and probably the most sort of momentous occasion was when we beat them in the semi-final in the Premiership before we went on to win it. So in 2012, which was and we were losing probably, I think, with 5 or 6 minutes to go. So it always adds to the occasion. But that was a good one for me.
No, we love that. Always getting one up on the siblings. I've got a two-parter here. One is from my co-host Harvey, who is a Quins fan. He's asked, do you like or do you love refereeing the Quins?
So I don't get much of an opportunity, not because it's sort of they don't want me to. It's just more how we're sort of selected to each game. I do honest. I enjoy refereeing all the teams. There's no sort of one team where I sort of go, oh, I prefer refereeing these. Every week's a challenge and a different challenge. I know a lot of players at Quins, but I also know a lot of players at different clubs.
Yeah.
So I enjoy refereeing all the game, and probably why I enjoy the refereeing side of things so much is just each game presents a different challenge, and you kind of never know what it's going to come up. You can referee for 79 minutes and gone all well, and then that one incident pops up, and suddenly it turns into a different game.
No, that's fair. Is it strange, like penalising mates that you've like done social events with, gone to weddings, parties?
This is going to sound probably a little bit weird. I go out there and I actually don't see them as friends or mates. I just referee the game. So whatever I see as the game, it's not like, oh, there's Billy 12trees at Gloucester and I'm refereeing him and I know him really well. I'm gonna do this or that, or I'm refereeing play with Danny and this is what I do. I just referee the game, and I try and be as equal as I can for both teams. So if I'm talking to one team, I want to be talking to the other team. And at the end of the day, all people and fans want is that equity at the end of the game.
No, I agree with that. Very professional. I'm loving this so far.
I just, do you know what I mean? It's just when you go in there and if you're there going, oh, well, actually, I do this and this, it's kind of like, well, it's all about, I want my integrity to be so I can referee these guys at higher, like as in higher levels in semi-finals and finals. And you can't probably have that sort of attitude going in. Well, I'll just they're a mate, so I'll do this. It's the game, and there's cameras everywhere, and people are watching, and you've got to make sure that you're professional throughout.
No, that fair enough. Obviously we're in like the height of social media, so like, and obviously as a referee, one mistake, people will come at you regardless. How do you personally deal with trolls, shall we say?
If I'm honest, I don't really look too hard. I have my social media. Yes, obviously people do comment on certain things that we do on the field, like they do to all referees. It's unfortunately it's part and parcel of the job that we do. Like any job in the sort of media spotlight. Any referee, any player in most sports, people from around the world have access to them. So it's part and parcel of it. You don't really take too much notice of it because everyone is entitled to their opinion, whether that's positive or negative. So I just get on with it. I don't pay too much attention to it. The people that really matter are the guys around me, the guys, the selectors and the guys in the room with me. So, people outside that quite rightly, they can have their own opinion, but that's not going to affect me moving forward.
I love the mindset. I could listen to this all day. Just because obviously there is like friend of the show, Ben O'Keefe, will occasionally screenshot like love the game, and it's just, and it makes me laugh. All these people that comment or message like Ben or yourself or Luke Pierce or anything like that, these messages, I'm like, if you bumped into them in the street, would you say that to them? Probably not.
Yeah, and that's probably, a question to ask for them. Some people have strong opinions on things. Obviously there's the education around the game. Some people aren't educated in exact laws and what can and can't be done. So listen, it's going to happen. I know Ben and others screenshot and put them on there. That's their way of dealing with it, which is fine. I just move on. Yep, that's what you do. I don't go looking for it. If it comes to me, I just delete it, move on. Unfortunately, for referees in the past, this past year, it's probably gone beyond where it needed to be. But that's again, you're in the spotlight. People are going to sometimes take a shot at you, and that's part and parcel of the job.
I mean, yeah, more credit to you. I mean, I think people won't also say it to you because you're actually a lot bigger than people let on.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not that big, but it's more like I'm a very big fan of killing people with kindness. When people, supporters, and people like say thank you very much, really appreciate your feedback. Yep, really, thank you very much. Because if they feel like they want to say it, I don't feel like I need to respond to that. Just thanks very much, really appreciate it, and I'll move on with my day. I'd encourage anybody who has real strong opinions around refereeing and think they would love them to take up the whistle. Have a go.
Yeah. Just
go out and referee your kid's game or referee another game, and trying to put yourself in our shoes and see how you feel. See good. You might be the best referee in the world. We don't know.
Exactly.
So that it's one of those things.
No, fair enough. Going back to your playing career just a little bit. Obviously, you played scrum half. Who is your dream 10? You could pick past and present. So who's somebody you would have loved to play with? And now, if you were still playing.
I mean, I can't really pick anyone more than Nick Evans because obviously I used to play with him. For him not to get as many sort of All Black caps as he did is probably a bit of a travesty because he was an unbelievable rugby player. Saw the game so quickly, had time and space, and you probably see that now with the fact that the way Quins are attacking and he's their attack coach. Attack minded. He's probably up there with one of the best 10s in the world that has probably played the game. Ultimate professional, but also is great off the field as well. So I wouldn't look too far past sort of Nick Evans in that sort of sense.
Fair enough. And what about present day? So if you were still playing, who would you love to
present day? Let's have a look. Let's have a look around the world. Again, you're probably not looking too far past. Your Richie Moyunga, Gordon Barrett. That type of 10. Your Quade Coop. Just these guys who can do stuff which other guys can't. Read the game well. Fantastic rugby players in their own right. And it shows even at the very top level, they still can, dominate a game. So that type of player, specifically, I could probably name 4 or 5, but there's just 3 as a quick throw around.
No, it's fine. You've all legends in their own right, which you've named, which is perfect. Similar question, but onto your referee now. So you get to pick your whole referee set. Obviously, you're in the middle because you're our guest. You get to pick your linesman, or your assistant, sorry, your TMO, what venue and what game?
I think you're looking at probably Ellis Park, New Zealand, South Africa, and then you want on the line. All the I could pick from. I'm going to pick purely just because I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to pick my home union. So I'd have Matt Carley and I'd have Wayne Barnes. Both of them on the side for me.
Love that. That's be a great game as well. That'd be very enjoyable. I'd love that.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. I'm lucky enough to be down in Ellis Park on Saturday doing part of the European game. So, but to do a sort of New Zealand South Africa game now, I think would be amazing.
Would that be the the pinnacle for you, or
I don't think it'd be the pinnacle, just because I've done New Zealand, Ireland, down New Zealand, which was again amazing. Been part of that series. Australia, Argentina. I've done South Africa. They're Six Nations games. They're all just amazing one-off games, and you just really privileged the fact that you're given that opportunity to referee those games.
No, that's fair enough. Got another one from another co-host from Jemma. She's asked, "What is your funniest / most memorable moment?" I imagine from refereeing.
So funniest moment, probably I wouldn't say memorable. It was my first ever Premiership game, Friday night. Lost to Saracens at the Shed, so obviously TV, Shed going nuts. I'm obviously really pretty nervous, being my first Premiership game. And I think Scott Brits had just scored. And then after he'd scored, he came up to me and said, "Sir, I've just followed through." And I've gone, "Sorry, what?" He's like, "I've just followed through. What do I do?" And in the heat of the moment, I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Is it a sub? Is it not a sub? Do I send him off? I said, "Skull, if you could just go back to your half and sort it out, that would be great." Because I literally had no idea of how to deal with it at the time. Gloucester are losing, Shed were on my back. It was the last thing I needed to, and I just genuinely at the time had no idea how to deal with it, and I just found it quite funny.
That's not what I was expecting. So how do you deal with it then?
So what you would do is you go, "Skull, you can leave the field, go and do what you need to do, but you can't bring on a sub."
Oh, so it's almost like a sin bin, essentially.
It's almost just go off the field, do what you need to do, and then come back on when the game has stopped. So it wouldn't be a set period of time. It's just until he could sort it out.
All right, okay. Of all the games to do it on your first as well.
Exactly. So it was a quite an interesting time for me.
It reminds me of when I did coaching at college, and it was like your 12-week graded units, so the be all and end all of basically their whole time. And I'm like, "Hi guys, my name's Murray, and I'm going to be teaching you rugby for the next however weeks. Any questions?" First kid, they were about 10 years old, give or take, and they go, "Where do babies come from?"
Oh God.
No, that's not my job. That's absolutely not. Ask
I mean,
mum.
you did ask for questions to be asked, so
I know, but I meant more about rugby. But yeah,
you opened up the door. You need to be specific. Any questions about rugby?
it just, 17 years old, and it just caught me completely off guard. I was just like, I'm not answering this.
I'm going to your mum and dad.
Yeah, so I was like, ask your teacher or ask your parents after school, but
yeah,
don't ask me, please.
Definitely.
I'm just, I'm actually lost for words now. But I'm glad to know that that if that happens,
I know what to do now.
You can deal. Has it ever happened again?
No.
Never. More praise to Shout for telling you.
I think he was expecting me to say you can go off, we can bring someone else on, but I was just like, "Oh, please, please leave me alone. I don't really know."
Oh, honestly. Jemma, I'm just going to go into Gemma's other question because that's proper rattled me there. Who's unexpectedly nice to referee? Teams or players? Who's actually quite...
There's loads of players and teams that are really nice. I could honestly name so many. Most captains, really nice guys. And I think probably the biggest thing for us is if you treat them how you want to be treated, then normally you get the same response. If you're abrupt and not rude, but just kind of push them away, well, they will kind of treat you the same. So if you're nice to them, and I always say before the game, lads, listen, if you have any questions, just pick the right time. If I push you away, that's not me being rude. I'm just dealing with something. Just give me a second. I'll come and find you. We can have a conversation. Whatever you want to ask. We might not agree, but we can have that conversation and we can move on. And I think most teams get that. And sometimes you've got to understand there's going to be frustration in the game and players are going to, and that's part and parcel of the game. But again, you just try and stay calm, stay connected, and just have that conversation. And things like, "Oh, sir, you missed a knock on that." "Yeah, I'm really sorry. I just didn't see it."
Yeah. No.
And it kind of shuts down. Well, because you've given them an explanation, you haven't just shut them down. You've given, "Sorry, lads, I didn't see it," and they kind of go, "Okay."
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that. Have you ever had? You don't have to name names. You can just say yes or no. Have you ever had ones that are just flat out not willing to cooperate?
You get tricky characters, like you do in any business, any sport. And again, you just find a way to deal with that person. And normally, it's pre-game. You sort of have a chat with them, and it kind of you kind of prepare that in the game. And as I said, there's always going to be one-off occasions where players get frustrated, which is natural. Players are going to get frustrated for decisions and things like that. It's just how they deal with it and how we deal with it, and hopefully we can find that common ground where, because ultimately you don't want to see something on TV where, a player is having a massive go at a referee and a referee doesn't do anything about it. You want the values of the game sort of upheld, and that will hopefully filter down into, national leagues, and your general amateur Saturday, Sunday games.
No, I agree. I don't think I've ever came across like a proper incident where a player's almost went for it. I think I've seen it once at grassroots, and it was embarrassing. Like the captain, funnily enough, got red carded, took his top off and squared up to the referee. I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah, and that's not what we want in rugby. We don't need that. Listen, everyone's going to get stuff wrong. Players are going to get stuff wrong. Referees are going to get stuff wrong, and it all swings in roundabouts in sort of ways. There's bits and pieces here and there that won't go for you one week, but might go for you next week. So,
no, I agree. I agree completely. We've got a question from Ben O'Keefe. He's asked, "Who is your favourite Kiwi ref over 6 foot?" I feel like that has.
I think there's only one over 6 foot. They're all tiny. Wow. I mean, I think Dolman nearly gets to 6 foot with his hair. BP's pushing it. Paul Williams is definitely not up there, so it's going to have to be Ben. But Ben's a top guy. Really sort of cool fella, great on the field, and great off the field, which is what you want. You want to be able to be around a team that can be professional and work hard for each other on the field, but then off the field have a good time and know how to enjoy themselves. And he's definitely one of the guys up there. So there's some good few stories around me and Ben, but I'll keep them to myself.
Oh, fair enough. I'm going to take the height out of it then. Who's your favourite Kiwi ref?
Ben O'Keefe. Ben O'Keefe, without a doubt.
I'm gonna read something to you, and I want you to guess who told me this.
Okay.
So the boys reckon that you became a referee to finally get a full 80 minutes in the Premiership instead of coming off the bench.
I'm going to go for Matt Carley.
Oh, no, that wasn't. I'll give you one more guess, and then I'll tell you who it was.
Luke Pearce?
No. Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Luke Pearce, but we've had Luke on. It was actually Ben Whitehouse.
Oh, really? Ben Whitehouse. Fair play to him. Ben actually refereed me as a player, so that's quite interesting. Yep. Yep. I mean, that's a few boys. I mean, I believe that's on my Wikipedia page. So obviously, I know that some of the lads, I think it's Matt Carley who went on there and changed it. So could be wrong.
Have you got anything on Ben to get some payback?
Have I got anything on Ben? Not because, do you know what? I've got a few things on Ben, but I'm gonna take the high road and keep them to myself, just purely because I might have to work with him in the near future. So I'll keep it stum.
Fair enough. Now we're going to move into something a bit different, and it's getting to know Karl as a person.
Okay.
So, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Easy.
Easy.
I'm still to find somebody that'll back-to-back interviews that say cats.
No chance.
Any specific kind of dog, or just?
I used to have a few dogs growing up. If I could have a dog right now, I'd probably have some sort of bulldog, so a French bulldog, British bulldog, something like that. I'd like. Nice,
I like that. I'm not saying that to my other half because she's really pushing for a French bulldog, and it's not happening.
They're not cheap.
No, they're not cheap. They're definitely not cheap. And I don't know whose bright idea was to have dogs and young kids. It doesn't work. It's mayhem.
Yep.
Just
Definitely
no.
not the combination.
No. Maybe when they're older and they could walk the dog and feed it. Yeah, maybe go for it.
Yeah, we've gone for rabbits. So rabbits, kids can look after those.
Maybe a goldfish at most right now. It's easy.
Yeah, so I want to get the interaction. You get the interaction with a rabbit, but then it just stays in a little room and doesn't bother you.
Maybe a hamster then. So
Maybe a hamster. Yeah, I can go with that. Easy to lose.
stays in its cage. Special hamster stays in its cage. You feed it, you water it. There we go.
Yeah, but you know what the kids are like? They want to touch it, hold it, all that sort of stuff.
I mean, he's only 3, so probably not now either. He'll probably
Not now.
probably squeeze it too hard.
I have 2 7-year-olds, so they're a little bit older, so all right.
Does it get worse or does it get better?
It gets better. Gets different.
That's not a good answer.
The difference is obviously when they go to school, you kind of get you get to sort of have that day to yourself again. But probably the difference is you become like a taxi driver, moving them to this sport and that sport. And I think my girls have a better social life than I do.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 3 and he gets invited to parties and I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. I'd love to be invited to a party sometime.
Don't do parties anymore at our age.
Yeah, exactly. Favorite food cuisine or style of food is probably the best way.
So I would say Asian food is kind of my favorite, but I would go Japanese.
Like sushi, and
I love sushi, but I also love Thai food. Asian food, Asian cuisine for me. I love it.
Okay, so if you were going to cook or you were going out for a meal, what's your go-to, like for Asian style food?
So if I was going to go out for food, you've obviously got Thai restaurants and stuff, but you've got plenty of Japanese restaurants around, especially around London where we are. I mean, London's it's kind of your oyster. You can pick any sort of Asian cuisine you want, depending on how expensive you want to go. But Asian cuisine, probably, if I'm going up into town, you're probably looking at a good steak restaurant, closer to home, Thai or Japanese.
Fair enough. Right. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Favorite pizza topping?
Just meat feast.
Love
all
that.
Meats.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I don't think it should be on a pizza, but
Yes.
I definitely would eat it just because.
Oh no.
I'd eat it just because I like my food.
You know what? That's a good. I like that. I respect that answer. What is your favorite, or what is your go-to post-match drink? And I don't mean your protein shake or a water. I mean, as a player out on the town or after the game's all done and dusted.
Gin and tonic.
Any specific gin or just
Hendrick's gin with a cucumber.
Oh, fancy with the cucumber
there. Get the cucumber, yeah.
Fair enough. Favorite film?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, so good. That was a classic.
Great movie.
If there was a film on your career, who would play you in the film?
Oh, good question. I mean, I'd like him to play him. I don't know, Channing Tatum, just because he's a good-looking boy.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe Chris Pine?
No, I'll go with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that's fine. You're the guest. It's your choice.
Yeah, I'll go with Channing Tatum.
What would the film be called?
Oh. Poacher turned gamekeeper.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Favorite song / music genre?
Oh, this is going to say probably I like more of my sort of house dance music.
Really? I was not expecting that.
Yeah, so I'd listen to most like days, or if I'm in the gym, like a playlist, dance music or house music. That's the kind of music I'd listen to when I'm working out or going somewhere. Depending on who's around me, I might have to change that because some of the boys aren't too happy with that kind of music. So I can mix it up a little bit, but that's what I might be my go-to.
So if you're in the car yourself, music's turned up to max, that's what you're house music.
Yep.
Fair enough. We'll hear you before we see you then.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any tattoos?
No. I am petrified of needles.
You don't think about it.
It literally sounds. I don't have any. I have no intention of getting any. It sounds like my worst nightmare to pay someone money to stick a needle in me. Shitload. Sorry, a load of times. So, absolutely not.
That's fair. I always ask just because I've got a few, so I always like to chuck it in there.
Worst nightmare.
I've never thought of it like that though. I don't do needles, but I've never like thought of it like I know what it's sore, and it's the stupidest thing ever. It hurts like hell, but you kind of want to do it again.
So what you're trying to tell me is you like pain?
I don't like pain. I'm a big wimp. Yeah, I don't know.
Clearly not. If you like someone like digging into you, like with a needle, how many other times it is? Yeah, absolutely no chance.
I don't know because that one took quite a while. So
yeah,
and the middle bit was fine, but like obviously the closer to my wrist, obviously there's more veins.
Yeah.
Could have killed.
But also, like I would never know what to get. I wouldn't know what to get. So that'd be another thing.
Maybe I don't know, like a Harlequin with a whistle, or I don't know.
I don't think I'd go down well if I went to a club and someone saw my, Harlequin with the whistle
Maybe just a whistle.
Yeah,
that works with a big like house music speaker behind. It's like something comes you up. There you go.
I just think it would look really. I don't know. I'd be sort of getting, but no, I don't like it.
No, that's right. You have to be 100% committed to get one.
Yeah, never one of these people who go to Thailand and then wake up and go, oh.
No, I'm not. I would never do that. It's like the whole.
I know lads who've done it.
Yeah, I've got a few people that have got like their ex's name tattooed on them. Their ex for a reason.
Boy era.
Yep, and then they live with it, and I'm like, there's one. They used to have like the lipstick tattooed on their neck.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I'm like, you're just looking for trouble, then, are you not? That's just.
I mean, you're just drawing attention to yourself, aren't you? So.
No, not even good attention. So, yeah. Anyway, favorite or what are you currently binge watching / what would you recommend on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever?
What have I just finished watching on Netflix? I mean, this is going to sound really bad. I actually really enjoy Married at First Sight Australia.
Oh, I shouldn't like it. No one should like it. But it's so stupid.
Really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's so stupid, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah, so I started watching that and really enjoy it. I watched a lot of that. And then they've just put on TV, I think Paddy McGuinness is doing it. It's called Temptation, Fortune, Temptation, or Temptation, Fortune. It's on normal TV.
Okay.
It's basically the group of 12 contestants or 14 contestants. I think that they start with $300,000 or pounds, and they've got to get through 19 days. But what they'll do is obviously they live basic. So like they're in South Africa, they live in tents and they'll do challenges each day. And what they do is they might, towards the end of the challenge, there might be a milkshake challenge. So at the end of it, you can pay for a milkshake, but it costs £1,000 out of that money you have.
Right.
Okay.
Who
wants to take the temptation to take it. And you see the difference. The reason why I like it is because I have a certain way of doing things. The way I'd be like, for something like that, I'd be like, well, it's not a temptation for me. I'd just happily move on. But for other people, it's like, well, I know how to do it. So it's the dynamics of the group is what I enjoy. I'd watch the first couple. I'd watch him and tell me if I'm not right.
Okay, I will do it. It's kind of, it almost sounds like, I know it's different, but that SAS Who Dares Wins.
Yeah, so it isn't. It's not almost like, obviously they're like extreme challenges. This is like, the first challenge was like walking from A to B, but up some sand dunes, and obviously some people struggle with that, and then what it leads to, and the dynamic of the group and all the rest of it. They're not difficult challenges, but the temptation around that it's quite interesting.
No, I like that, especially like the fact it's in South Africa. It's not like here, so it's hotter. It's more grueling in a way to some people. And then you go, do you want a milkshake? And it's not even a hard question. It's just.
Well, the next, they split the group up. They've got like 7 or 6 go one way, 6 go stay at the camp, and 6 go to the spa. And it's like, listen, you haven't slept for like 4 or 5. Well, you've been in a tent for 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. Listen, for 1,500 quid, you can have a massage, you can have some fruit, you can have some champagne. Who wants to do it? But you're taking money away from the group.
Yeah, so if you stick by, basically, if you stand by not taking anything, you get more money at the end.
Yeah.
And then you can go and do what you want with it.
But then other people's attitude as well, I'll enjoy the ride now. And, there might still be money at the end. So some people are not tempted and are losing money because other people are tempted. But what do you do? Because if you send that person home, it costs you 25 grand.
Ooh. That's it. I'll need to watch that then, because there's
I would happily, one of the contestants at the moment, I'd happily get the hit on the 25 grand and send her home.
Why?
Send her home.
Why?
You'll see. I'll watch it. You'll understand who I mean.
So what would be your temptation? What would send you into, go on then?
I think for 18 days, how I'd look at it is it's 18 days, and I'm like, well, I don't like, you're getting, rice and beans every day. Mm-hmm. For 18 days, I'll take 25 grand. Thanks very much. Like, after I finish those 18 days, I can go and buy a milkshake. I can buy 1 million milkshakes. So my mentality would be like, I just don't need this. I want it, but I don't need it. So it'd be something that I genuinely needed if I was going to be tempted.
I feel like you've got this game show sussed.
Wow, but that's the problem. It's dealing with the people who don't have that mentality. So what do? Do you join in and go, well, do you know what? I'll just take the temptation because other people are. Or do you not and still try and end up with at least 15 grand or 10 grand?
No, I need to watch it.
But then that other person who's had all the good times is going to end up with the same amount as well.
See, that's not fair.
So that's why I'd say watch it. And after you've watched a couple, you'll know exactly who I mean.
Yeah, you've got me hooked. Like, fair play to you. I'm very intrigued now. Would you rather have the Premiership title that you've won, or referee a Premiership final? One counters out the other. So if you referee a final,
definitely win the Premiership final. Definitely win. Yeah, that's part of something you got to do. Yeah, definitely win it.
To be fair, you were guaranteed a medal either way you picked it.
Well, yeah, you guaranteed a medal. Just more, I think, the occasion and what you've come through to win a title versus, as a referee, it's still a massive privilege, but there's only, 8 of you who can probably do it.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Final question for you today, Karl. One thing you'd like to be remembered for?
Oh,
not just as a rep. This is just like as in life.
As a just in general. Sort of happy-go-lucky. Just always happy to go out, enjoy myself. Enjoy the company, be with people, and have fun out with a few drinks. Life's too short. Just make sure you enjoy yourself.
I love that. I couldn't think of a better way to end it. The book is now closed, and you've absolutely smashed it. I cannot thank you enough for agreeing to come on.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome, and you're welcome back anytime. And all the best in South Africa.
Cheers. Thanks very much. And make sure you watch that programme and let me know after 2 episodes.
Oh, well, is it on, I'm guessing, BBC iPlayer or something?
I think it's on like, maybe ITV or Channel 4, one of those. It's got it's called like Tempting Fortunes or something like that.
Okay, well, I'll definitely give it a watch and I'll drop you a message. But yeah, I cannot thank you enough. This has been the final whistle. Karl Dickson. We'll see you next time.